Okay, let's watch this. You'll notice the shark does the same thing 4 times. A sort of hungry dance, and then the eating of a fish. Of course, it's a different fish each time. Here's the code. A do in order. Gosh, I'm hungry. Turn and roll. It turns to face the tang, moves forward almost the distance to the tang, and the tang disappears. Then again, the shark does the hungry dance. Says, I'm hungry, turns and rolls. Turns to face the clownfish, moves almost the distance to the clownfish disappears. Does the hungry dance again, the exact same hungry dance. Then eats the pajama fish. Does the hungry dance, then eats the pajama fish too. Let's clean this up. Let's begin by making a procedure called hungry dance for the shark so that we don't have to repeat this code 4 times. We can simply call that procedure 4 times. Here's how we do it. I'm going to click on this icon's drop down, and for the shark, I'll add a procedure. Name the procedure. I'll call it do, lowercase d, hungry, dance. Okay, I'm now editing a procedure that belongs, you can see it over here, to the shark. A procedure I'm creating. Recall what happens. In order, the shark thinks, gosh, I'm hungry. Turns right 2 revolutions, rolls left 1 revolution. So, let's grab the think from this shark. So this think, gosh, I'm hungry. I'm typing one-handed, holding a microphone here. Okay. Turn right 2. Turn right 2. And roll left 1, I think it was. So I've defined the instructions for the do hungry dance. Now I'm going to go back into my first method, and I'm going to delete this do in order. And the reason I can do that is under shark now, I've got this do hungry dance procedure that I just wrote. So I'll just delete that, and I'll replace it with a call to shark do your hungry dance. I can copy that or drag it over again and replace this next hungry dance and delete this do in order. And do that again. Delete this do in order. And one more time. So look what we have now. Shark do hungry dance, eat the blue tang. Do the hungry dance, eat the clownfish. Do the hungry dance, eat the pajama fish. Do the hungry dance, eat the second pajama fish. And of course, it should look exactly the way the first one did, and indeed it does. So we're reusing code, the exact same code, by giving it a name in a procedure, do hungry dance, and that helps clean up our program, which was already getting rather lengthy. And now a slightly more involved task. Eating a fish involves the shark doing the same thing, but it has to actually do it to different fish each time. We can do something similar, as with a hungry dance, and create a procedure, eat fish, for example, and give it a parameter for which fish we want the shark to eat. Let's do that. We're going to create a procedure which has the shark turn to face a fish, move forward, the distance to that fish less a little bit, and then that fish will have its opacity set to 0. So once again, I'm going to click on this icon's drop down, shark, add shark procedure, and this time we'll call it eat fish. And if I select turn to face, what does he turn to face? Well, we want him to turn to face whichever fish he wants to eat. But that's different each time we call the procedure. So let's create what's called a parameter. It's a variable that will be local to this guy. Let's call the parameter a fish. Its type, the type of this variable, can be generally fish rather than specifically one of these guys, since it's a different one each time. They're all fish. So if I click on that, I'm creating a variable of fish of type fish. Right? And that's my parameter. Now, if I go over here and I ask the shark this to turn to face, I can say turn to face that fish parameter, whichever one it is. Then we'll say move forward some amount and replace that by, as you've seen before, distance to. So get your distance to fish. We'll subtract a little bit just so that it looks better. Math minus a little bit, half a meter. And now we want whichever fish is being eaten to become invisible. A fish, I click on a fish here, and I have access to all of the procedures and functions that a fish has. So I'm going to be able to tell a fish, if I click on its procedures, to set its opacity to 0 so that it becomes invisible. The big bonus here is by having a parameter, a fish parameter called a fish, I can call this procedure over and over again and feed it a different fish, no pun intended, each time on which the shark should act. So let's go back to my first method. Now, instead of this do in order, let me select shark. I want to tell the shark to run its eat fish method that we just created, right? And we'll have it eat the blue tang. So we select blue tang as the parameter. This shark eat fish where a fish is blue tang this time. That should execute this equivalent code, and we can delete this guy. Let's copy this to the clipboard. And now bring it down here and do that again. Bring it down again here after Hungry Dance. Do that again. And bring it down after Hungry Dance here. Right? Now we want the shark to eat the clownfish. So we can delete this and change this parameter to clownfish. Here the shark was eating the pajama fish. Let's delete this and say pajama fish. And one more time here, pajama fish 2 We'll delete this and we'll select Pajama Fish 2. Look at our code in My First Method now. See how descriptive it is. Do the hungry dance, eat the blue tang, do the hungry dance, eat the clownfish. Right? We've broken up all these tasks into smaller ones, and because we can call procedures as many times as we want, we're taking advantage of being able to reuse the code over and over again. Here comes the shark. Got the blue tang. Off to the clownfish. Pajama fish. And Pajama Fish 2. Time for a nap. There you've seen an example of a procedure that takes no parameters because the exact same code is executed over and over again every time the procedure is called. And another procedure which takes a parameter and the code acts on that particular parameter, which can be different each time it's called.